Hi, welcome to my channel. This channel is about the Big Bang against the current view of the astronomy. In this video, I will take on Bill Nye.
These supernovae are what creates all the elements that you and I are made of. And so we're looking at the process that creates life. And as Carl Sagan would remark, since we are made of the elements of these exploded stars, you and I are one way the universe knows itself. Like, dude.
So, because I've studied philosophy, first of all, let's start with something that he says that Carl Sagan says. If you know, this is the way I made my videos. I was filming myself but I said let's film myself straight because I will filming myself from a side. So I'm saying like a tea science, if you know, like this, and I have tea here. Here's a tea, a big bottle of tea. So it is a cherry tea with green tea and mint. So this is the way I made my video, if you know. But I was filming myself like now I started to film myself straight. So because I studied philosophy, I discovered the Big Bang is false and the distances of the stars are false. I started with what he says that Carl Sagan says, the well-known astrophysicist.
These supernovae are what creates all the elements that you and I are made of. And so we're looking at the process that creates life. And as Carl Sagan would remark, since we are made of the elements of these exploded stars, you and I are one way the universe knows itself. Like, dude.
So, but I want to tell you that this was like Hegel said. Originally, he said God wanted to know himself like other, and he created us like in the universe to know himself, God. So they took this and put it like with no God stuff, like in a matter stuff, the matter. So the stars now are blowing up and we are made of star stuff. It sounds like good for them, we are made from stardust and things like this. And the star is life, he says. Okay, but I've told you from where it is this. But now if you know, I take on some guys that presents false science, okay? I want to convince you that who are sustaining the Big Bang is speaking wrong science. So and in the process I will teach you correct science. So, but if you do not believe me, listen this passage now in seriousness, with all your seriousness, how you can produce a sphere. So he is explaining like this. But if this is science, I don't know from where he took this. So now listen this.
Why is everything spinning? When the mutual gravity of these particles brings them together, their unevenness often resolve themselves into a disk, and then in the center of the disk often resolves into a star, where you get a sphere.
So after you listen that, you imagine I read from here. I wrote it here, okay? So he says, when the mutual gravity of these particles bring them together, what's this formula? Who knows this formula? From what? What science? What science is this? When the mutual gravity of these particles bring them together, their unevenness often resolve themselves into a disk. Then in the center of the disk, often resolved into a star, resolve two times, that's a key. Where when you got a sphere, when we got a sphere. So what formula is this? And now with all seriousness, they do not know what gravity is. If you do not believe me, he says, so the mutual I put for you another time. Like, let's make this a little bit fun, okay?
Why is everything spinning? When the mutual gravity of these particles brings them together, their unevenness often resolve themselves into a disk, and then in the center of the disk often resolves into a star, where you get a sphere.
So after you watch that again, I will read you to you again. From what science he made this, and through what science he is proving to you that the stars are spheres and are making themselves spheres. You see, because it's very important. Once you are saying that the stars blow up to produce elements, to produce us, so you must have a coherent process how to produce the stars to be spheres. And what is his formula? When the mutual gravity of these particles bring them together, and you do not understand that this is false, have particles gravity. A small particle does have gravity. And the mutual gravity brings them together. This is the key. So let's make fun of this, okay? You listen another time this.
Why is everything spinning? When the mutual gravity of these particles brings them together, their unevenness often resolve themselves into a disk, and then in the center of the disk often resolves into a star, where you get a sphere.
So after you listen another time, just for fun, okay? It's my first video, I film myself straight, but I will accommodate, okay? So now let me tell you, you are believing that this is not wrong, but gravity is not attraction. So how the mutual gravity of the particle can bring particles together to form a disk? How? So everybody believes that gravity is attraction. Any point of attraction between the sun and earth, the sun, one point will collapse once there is another. So gravity is being wrongly understood. He is giving it like forming star story is very important. This God of them that explodes and produces, it is a false God. Hegel said God wanted to know himself by like other and produce the universe, and the rational minds, the angel and people, okay? But so this unconscious sphere that is produced by the mutual gravity of the particle that brings them together, and the unevenness often resolve themselves into a disk. So how what is this formula? You see, now maybe it seems like I insist, but gravity is not attraction, okay? Gravity is a simple force. I already told you like this: force equals mass times acceleration, and you put two masses and you have a circle, and you have a constant speed, and you have a constant force that pushes a body with a constant force, a mass body. So gravity is a mechanical work, like I always tell you like this. So what is the mutual gravity of the particles? You understand that these guys do not know science, okay? So this video I will see how big it is, but I must make it. This because my first video I feel myself straight. So gravity is acceleration, 9.8 meters per second is vectorial. So what I'm telling you right now, it sounds like this: the mutual gravity of the particles brings them together, and the unevenness resolve themselves into a disk. Then in the disk center, or in the center of the disk, often resolved into a star, where you got a sphere. So this is what I'm telling you now. The force is acceleration, 9 meters per second. So it is not any factor that can brings together something. You understand that these guys are lying. So you see that this is what they do not understand. This force consume movement. You see, you give a force to a mass, and a force produce a mechanical movement. You see, so a force produce a mechanical movement on a distance. And so in this case, what do you do not understand? The force is if you know the orbit of the earth around the sun, like this is giving force to the earth. It pushes it like this. It's like you blow on something, like constant with a force, and the force acts on mass, and you know from the earth, and you presuppose that all the body has the same densities. So if you give a force to a body, you know what is the distance that will push a mass on a distance, like this. When we hit it with a force, we push it, you produce a mechanical work. So the force is mass times acceleration, produce a mechanical work over a distance. So in this case, Newton put this force in a spherical way. You have the laws of the sphere, and even in a spiral way in his book. But the force is simple. Force is mass times acceleration. So what unevenness of the particles brings them together? Because this force will not bring together anything. You understand that they are tricking. Some of them say like attraction, and you'll because they are believing that the earth attracts a rock when it falls. Okay. So unevenness, this is unevenness, bring the sun and the earth together. So I'm telling you, it seems crazy that they are crazy, but they do not speak correct science, okay? So you put this force that produces mechanical force in the circle, and you know the distance of the circle calculated indirectly, and you know that it must be pushed with a force, because you know from our earth what mechanical work over a distance makes a body when you push it, okay? And you see, if ever hard, like a bigger body with the same force, you produce a less mechanical force. So force, it is a pushing factor, like a hitting factor. Like I hit this, I hit it constantly. So who speaks more correctly? He with this, when the mutual gravity of this particle, let's see this again. You see that it is comically, okay?
Why is everything spinning? When the mutual gravity of these particles brings them together, their unevenness often resolve themselves into a disk, and then in the center of the disk often resolves into a star, where you get a sphere.
So let me read it again. So it seems like a repetition, but this is the way the science is. But they repeat stupid stuff you do not understand. These guys are sustaining, and I didn't want it to take on them. But you see, I have to say something that it will seems to you strange. But if I prove to you that they speak crazy stuff, maybe you will have the ear to listen to me close, that I'm telling you the truth. So what is the mutual gravity of the particles bring them together? So can this gravity resolve, how it says, often resolve itself in this, and then another time often resolve into a star when you got a sphere? No, because gravity, it is not a thing that goes in the center, okay? The planets are already made spherical, and then a force only push them, because gravity does not manifest like this. And I've told you in my previous video, if you rotate a pizza dough on a single axis will produce a flat sphinx, like the disc he's showing to you in the video, okay, like the disc. So in this disc will not form spherical bodies, never. They are satellites, crooked satellites, like this, Mars satellites, like a potato or something, because the planets are made in another way. And I'm telling you, the planets are made in a cloud of water. Like you have, so the gravity could not congeal stars. It is important. You see, if it is a big video, but you understand. So I'm saying like a tea science, and I have here a green tea with mint and cherry. So I started to feel myself perpendicular. Let's see what is Our galaxy is a sphere from ancient times and always was, and is surrounded by black clouds of hydrogen oxygen. And this was full, and inside of it was congealing planets like this, not through gravity. I just proved to you that gravity is a mechanical work done by a force in a circular manner. So if you see these rocks are congealed themselves through atomical connection, not to false physics, gravity physics, with atomical chemical connection. So in this similar manner, you must suppose that a planet like a Mars planet, Venus planet, Pluto, Jupiter, Uranus, no matter big it is congealed to the same how you have in a small rock a bigger one and a bigger still one. The same processes act. So if gravity is not attraction, and I told you what gravity is, the planets are made another way. The star themselves even. That he is showing that cloud and are producing stars. So I'm telling you that exactly like that cloud, the planets were congealing in atomical connection in a cloud of hydrogen, oxygen, and then it was producing electricity that split the sphere, inside the planets remain suspended at once. And that electricity goes from a pole to a pole in our galaxy and push the planets at once, all of them. They remain in orbits around the sun. The sun does not have the power to maintain the planets on orbit. So I told you many things. So he pushed them at once because it's a circular field made from electricity, energy, electricity, electron energy, like microwave radiation, electron radiation, microwave radiation, and many things, and in a circular manner move like this from a pole to a pole, and it spins the sun and produce all the orbits of the planets. And this has a strength to push, produce a mechanical work like this, to push the planet constantly. So it is not, a rock does not produce movement. So if you are saying, you see that produces sphere, it produces everything, gravity, because you understand that they do not know. They do not know what gravity is, okay? So let it be like this for now. So the mutual gravity resolves in nothing, okay?
It's like, whoa.
So against Bill Nye, you are you say that these guys that will know science, and I've showed to you into my channel. I didn't want to take on them. Okay, I discovered the Big Bang is false. The galaxies are simply stars, pouring clouds, and they are close. And our galaxy is a sphere. We cannot see what you are calling actual day, say universe, and the light diminishes with distance. Make a point, and we see only one sphere that is voided inside, partially void, because the electric energy like this that moves the planets, not the sun, makes this, okay? So they do not understand what Newton says, and they clearly do not know science, and I always explain to you. Force equals mass times acceleration. You have two masses, two acceleration, and you put the movement in a circle. And you know the consuming factor from the 9 meter per second from the earth of the mechanical work. And now you have, you suppose that all the bodies are like the earth density, so the consuming factor manifested in the same manner. So now, to be not consumed or another distance between the sun and earth, you are understanding that constantly it's produce an anti-force that consumes this, that consumes the mechanical movement. So exactly like this, in case it is added constantly, because if not it will stop, okay, I will add a force equal mass times acceleration in the system constant to maintain it. Like you have a ball on your finger and you spin it, you understand that the spin, the movement around the earth. And so this is the first video, and you understand that they do not know science. Believe me or not, they do not know science. So God bless. Goodbye. Against Bill Nye, the mutual gravity of the particles resolve to bring us together, and the unevenness. What is this? So if you listen this stuff, it's like somebody is tricking you, like with magic stuff. The unevenness resolve themselves into a this. What is this? So what I explained to you, and what is this? So I'm telling you, they do not know science. You understand, we cannot see. You only put one day in a mirror telescope. You cannot put in a mirror only one day with the speed of light. Goodbye, and we cannot see beyond our galaxy. Goodbye, God bless. My T-Science, goodbye, God bless. My first video that I'm filming myself straight. Let's see how it... like, share and subscribe. It would help me distribute this. Goodbye.
It's like, whoa.